Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 15th May 2017. The first article, Clamping Down on Crime. It is about improving professionalism in police in India. Here we need to talk about the reasons for decrease in police performance. If you see the evolution of the police, London Met, which has started, or Metropolitan Police of the London, it started as a law and order police. Its primary objective is to establish public order. The criminal investigation is not initially the part of its responsibility. Over a period of time, all the metropolitan cities, they got specialized police forces, and criminal investigation also has become an important part of their responsibility. If you come to India, police face enormous challenges. The most important among them is the political intervention in the part of investigation. Other than that, people to police ratio, if you see, in India it is around 140 for 1 lakh of population. And most of these police, these are involved with VVIP duties, protection of the political leadership. So it means the policemen who are involved with civilian responsibilities and to maintain the public order, these are very minimal. So that's the reason why we need to professionalize our forces, make technology available for them, and we need to learn from the international experiences on better policing. So in this case, NYPD has a best example to us. There is a program started that is called Computer Statistics, or CompStat. In this program, what they did is they categorized the geographies in the New York City where the crime incidence is high. So these are called as crime hotspots, and they increased the police presence over there. So it means they are able to geographically indicate the crime spots and made the police presence felt over there. Because of this, there is a decrease in policing. If you take in New York, there is an area called Bronx. So this Bronx is known for drug trafficking, mafia activity, etc. So there is a lot of police presence. It has reduced the crime almost by 10th. And coming to the London Met. So the London Met, the street crime is increasing in London. So what they did is search and frisk operations, or stop and search operations. These are started. Because of this presence of police on the streets, the street crime has decreased. So visible policing, evidence-based policing, and use of the technology, these are also need of our for Indian police to improve their professionalism and also to raise their capabilities on job. So this is what the article talks about. Mixed signals from Toronto. This is about Prime Minister Trudeau's attendance to Khalsa Day in Canada. You know that fight against terrorism is intricately connected with Indian foreign policy. And Prime Minister Modi, wherever he goes, whomever he receives, he makes sure that the terrorism is being spoken to them. So in this context, in Canada, the Khalsa Day is celebrated, and it is directed against the events that have happened in 1984. So if you see, there is a damage to the Sikh conscience after Operation Blue Star, and there are events which have led to Operation Blue Star too. So, housing of the terrorists in Akal Takht and Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale and his unlawful activities finally pushed Prime Minister Indira Gandhi to send army into Golden Temple, and it has severely hurt the sentiments of Sikhs. And then, after Indira Gandhi was killed in 1984, there were anti-Sikh riots which have led to a massacre of the Sikhs in Delhi and also in few parts of Punjab. So, the Khalistan movement, its objective is to have a separate Sikh state, and the Khalsa Day is to commemorate the people who have been died in this military operation, and it calls them as martyrs. And second is, it calls for 2020 referendum from Sikhs all over the world to have a separate Sikh state. So these are not in favor of the India's integrity. India could have given a strong reaction to Canada on these matters. So that's what this article talks about. Next is one step forward. So this is about Peace process in Colombia. Revolutionary armed forces of Colombia. So these are been brought into peace process through the efforts of the President Santos. Then a referendum was conducted. The peace deal did not go through referendum, and again a new deal is being started. So in this, demobilization is an important factor. What this demobilization refers to, these people, that is FARC commanders, will be given amnesty, and also they will be allowed to enter into the political process in the country, and they have to submit their arms before the UN, and they have to come clean so that they can be integrated in the civilian process. So the people who are the victims of FARC, these are not willing and they see it as injustice. And also the paramilitary and military forces which fought FARC, these are seeing that it is a letdown for them. So that's why there are many questions that are remaining unanswered. And whatever the areas and forests which are being cleared by FARC, these have become new grounds for criminal activities. Previously, FARC was involved with drug trafficking to gain its revenue, and these lands now are being occupied by the criminal elements. And second, the crime also has increased. Killing of the UN observers, these are also increased. So it is being said that these are the actions of the paramilitary forces not to make the peace process go through. Politically also there is a lot of opposition. Opposition leader, Mr. Uribe, he is not giving his consent to the peace process. So these are the challenges which it is expected to overcome. The next is be scientific. This is about GM mustard. Now when Jairam Ramesh was the environmental minister, the GEAC is renamed. GEAC refers to Genetic Engineering Approval Committee before. During Jairam Ramesh era, it has been called as Appraisal Committee. And the final decision with regard to the commercialization of the GM crops, it was given to the environmental minister. So understand carefully. Previously there was a question over here. GEAC comes under which ministry? It is not under Science and Technology. It comes under Ministry of Environment, Forests and Climate Change. So here, a political leader who do not have much understanding of the science, he was given a responsibility to make a final decision with regard to the GM crops. So one way we have to see it this way. The genetically modified crops, these are supposed to give us the food security. And added to that, they are going through safety tests, a series of safety tests, and then only they are being introduced. So here the most important aspect is, why can't we create a regulatory authority which can validate the field trials of the GM crops and give the permission for commercial cultivation? Why it has to be kept into the hands of the politicians? Now here this article also has explained about GM mustard. GM mustard is a self-pollinating crop. By changing some genes by the Delhi professors, they brought in hybridization into it. So because of this hybridization, the farmers can create many new varieties in GM crops. And the yield of the crop, oil content of the mustard seed, is going to increase because of these gene changes. This is what is been stated. And farmers in India need income security and knowledge transfer, and science and technology shall be given their way to exhibit or way to give their results. Now coming to getting the model right, this is about theatre commands. So Andaman and Nicobar Joint Command was established in India, but what was the result of it is not been made clear. And Prime Minister Modi also recently has spoken about theatre commands. And Joint Armed Forces report also has spoken about theatre commands. So let's understand this way based on the United States experience. So US has divided the world into various theatres. Let's take off-park theatre of terror. So this off-park theatre of terror, there will be a commander who will be appointed for this. And this commander will have all these forces at his disposal. Either it is marine forces or armed forces, this will be at disposal of one single leader. And second is, above that, there will be a central staffing mechanism which will provide for the necessary resources to this commander. So at this level, these will be divided and they will be under different leaderships. So the training and performance, everything is being undertaken by Army, Air Force and Navy. But however, once they come into a particular geography, these are under the command of that commander. So these are called as theater commands. Because of this, there is a better coordination and integration between the services and operational maneuverability. But what are the challenges? Every commander, he asks for maximum resources. This task of maximizing the resources without taking the resources available will put these commanders at conflict with each other. And the central staff, they will determine what missions have to be prioritized. Obviously, that leads to conflicting scenarios among the commanders between one theater and the other theater. And crime or also action, war action, may not confine to one particular geography, especially in the era of cyber attacks and growing drug trafficking. The theaters are being, or else the action of these terror attacks are being spread across various geographies. So in this context, a common theater trying to fight this can be better. That's what is being stated. Or, so for example, it's an AFPAK. There is something in Syria. So there may be ISIS connections between Syria and AFPAK. Then it brings in the coordination or challenge of coordination between one theater command and other theater command. This is another challenge which we need to face. That is what is this article talks about. Because I'm talking about theater commands. Only to that extent it is relevant to India. Goldwater and Nicholas Act, it has brought in these theater commands in India. And next is the forgotten other. It is about the Tamils in Sri Lanka. You have Tamils who have moved to Sri Lanka, ages world, and these got settled in north and eastern provinces. And these people position is relatively well off. And there are many Tamilians who are taken to Sri Lanka to work in coffee and tea gardens by the Britishers in 19th and 20th century. And these are stateless citizens. By official statistics of Sri Lanka, they are around 8 lakh people. By the community leaders, they are more than 1.6 million. And these people have lowest developmental indices. Either it is life or else it is related to health, education, whatever you talk about. Lowest developmental indices are among these people. And these people do not own any resources, especially the land or any financial resources do not exist at their disposal. And Prime Minister Modi in his recent visit to Sri Lanka has addressed these people and also assured that 10,000 houses will be financed by India. So the article talks about India shall also focus on educating these people. So this is about this. Maladies and remedies. So it is about the media. With regard to media, the fake news is like a cancer. And the fake news is also raising a thirst among the people from credible, important news. So that's why the print media is gaining new life. That's what is this article talks about. And ABC report has clearly stated that over 5 crores of new subscriptions have happened over a decade. That clearly shows that the credibility of the print media did not go away. And trust and credibility have their value. Till they have their value, the print media will continue its existence. That's what the author talks about. Now let's come to the first page, that is front page. So you know that BRF, Belt and Road Forum, is being conducted in China, and India has abstained from the same. So in this meeting, Mr. Z, he has spoken about the Panchashil. So this Panchashil has come into existence. It is proposed by Prime Minister Nehru. It has come into existence between India, China and Myanmar in 1950s. So what are the 5 components of the Panchashil, that is for peaceful coexistence? Try to go through them. So, and second is, at this BRF itself, another $50 billion is being proposed to develop the power projects across the Indus Water Conclave, which is moving through the Gilgit-Baltistan region, over which India has its sovereignty claims, and India has not been attended to this, stating that it is going through its sovereign, or else it's going through its region, that is Gilgit-Baltistan, which is under the control of Pakistan. And the next, North Korea fires at another missile. You know that President Trump has promised that he will not allow the North Korea to develop its capabilities to attack United States of America, defying many warnings and providing new challenges to the new president of South Korea, Mr. Moon. North Korea has fired another missile. So that shows the defiance of North Korea. And Emmanuel Macron, he takes charge as the president of France. These are the two important news today. And coming to the center may execute proposed social security law in phases. Now the center wants to increase the social security cover to the working class. So employment provident fund, it has to be provided by any company which has more than 20 workers. And ESI benefits have to be given by any company to the workers if it has more than 10 employees. So that's why. So the government needs huge finances. So that's the reason why it is expected that it will be implemented in stages, the social security law. I have given you the notes at the end. So how to use these notes, just I will give you a minute. So there is an article over here. And then after the article, you are given the context, why this article is important. And then there is a notes. This is the most important part of this. And then we need to remember certain words while we are expressing the answer. So these words are being expressed as to remember. So if you take over here, there is to remember page. This is meant to have these words. And then carry home points. It is the opinion out of the article which you need to make in your mind that has been given as carry home point. So try to read the notes and what is the essence you need to remember. And what are the terms you need to remember so that you can remember the entire article, which you need to update your class notes, you need to look into to remember. And those words are the essence of the entire article which is given in the notes. Thank you very much and all the best.